Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this evening's video, if you will. 10:31 p.m. Friday night. And people as of late, I don't know really what it is, but as of late, they've been saying, yo, Real Kens, man, we want to hear more, jail stories. We want to hear about the fights and the blood and the violence, that takes place in jail. And, as a person that's done plenty of time in jail, which I'm not proud of whatsoever, it's like, why do people want to hear about that? But I understand that there's a certain level of being intrigued as far as what actually happens while incarcerated. So I'm going to share two stories with you all this Friday night, if you will. One particular story, okay, let me explain how it works first, because you have to know the ins and outs and the intricacies, and, I got to paint a picture for you so you know exactly how things work while incarcerated. So the same rules that apply in the county jail may not necessarily apply in the penitentiary. So this situation that occurred happened in the county jail. In the county jail, you have different rules. So one of the main rules that I know of is that whoever gets up and cleans up, they, pretty much have first dibs on the television. That's just how it is. So, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, your cell opens up. They push the mop bucket, dustpan, broom, trash bags, just cleaning supplies. They push it all in, the little yellow mop bucket. You see what I'm saying? They push that in the cell. Now, the cell, you might have, this particular cell, I think we had 10 people in it. So dude gets up. Everybody else is asleep. He's cleaning the cell. He's making sure that the cell is well clean. And so once he's done with cleaning the cells, they turn the televisions on. Okay? They turn the TVs on. They do that from the guard station. So every cell, you have a remote control to the television, but the correction officer can control the power at the guard station. So at any rate, cell is clean or what have you, and the television's on. Well, dude has dibs to the TV. He cleaned up. So, he cleans up. Everything's cool. Now, what's so crazy about this particular situation is that this was Derby Day. Kentucky Derby. That's one of the biggest sporting events out there. Every year, the Kentucky Derby, it's a very big event. So this was on Derby Day. So there are certain things that it's already an unwritten rule, if you will, that you're going to watch on television when you're incarcerated. If it's the Super Bowl, if it's the NBA championship game, because technically they say sports overrules anything else. It's a given. So this particular day, dude, he's watching, he's controlling the TV or whatever. And I don't necessarily want to say he's controlling the TV. He just has a remote control. Nobody else is really, we over there, we're probably playing poker or something. It's cool. Everybody's just laid back. So he's the only one really watching the TV. Well, the Derby starts at right around 6:15, something like that. But, guys want to watch, the events leading up to the Derby. So I say right around maybe 4 o'clock. My partner's like, hey, bro, go on, hit that Derby. So the dude, he's like, what you talking about, hit the Derby? He's like, man, go on, turn to the Derby, man. We trying to, see what's going on with the Derby. The dude that cleaned the cell was like, shoot, man, I cleaned the cell this morning. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, you cleaned the cell, but we're going to watch this Derby, man. Everybody knows it's Derby Day. We can watch the Derby, man. Well, you should have got up and cleaned the cell. And he was trying to watch something crazy like, I don't remember. It was a silly movie on. I'm not going to say the movie was silly, but I think he was trying to watch like 300 or something. I want to say he was trying to watch 300 or Spartacus or something like that. One of those type movies. So, they going back and forth. So my dude's like, look, man, I'm not even going to argue with you, man. We're going to watch this derby, or if you don't like it, man, you can get on back here to this shower. Now, at this particular county jail that I'm speaking of, you went in the shower. If you want to get it in, you're going to go in the shower, or you're going to get it in right then and there. A lot of times people will go to the shower because they don't want to get caught. The problem is it's a little bitty boxed in area. It's very, very small in the shower. So it's like, if y'all going to fight, you might as well just fight, in the back of the cell or something like that. Because in the shower, you're going to end up coming out of the shower anyway, as you all fight. There's not a door there, it's just a curtain. So you see what I'm saying? The shower is really kind of more of a scare tactic. Get on back here to the shower then if you don't like it. You hear a whole lot of get back here to the shower. You hear some of the dumbest stuff in jail, in prison, and just being incarcerated. You hear some, I'm ready to die in here. Anybody don't like it, get back here to this shower. I'll do the rest of my time in the hole. I love the hole. Dumbass shit. Don't nobody like being in a hole like that. But those are scare tactics that, people tend to use while incarcerated. So you could tell that the dude clearly didn't want to go to the shower, but yet he was standing his ground on that television. He felt as though he cleaned up and he was going to watch 300 or whatever movie that was coming on. My dude was like, man, nah, man. That derby. So next thing you know, dude goes back to the shower. You can't see anything because, as I mentioned, there's a curtain up, but you can see the shadow. You can see the shadow through the curtain or whatever. So they fight. You just hear a whole bunch of thumping, like. No, you just hear somebody just getting pounded on. Pause, double pause. You can hear the punches being thrown and connecting or what have you. So, as I would have figured, it spills outside of the shower. Again, the shower is a very small space. I'm talking about maybe, if I had to guess, if I can remember, maybe 4x4, 5x5, something very, very, very small. So imagine two dudes in there fighting. You're not going to be able to stay in there for the most part. So it spills outside of the shower. So now they fighting and, they throwing hands or whatever. And my dude connects. And when he connects, he knocks dude out. So dude's knocked out, but he's still on his feet. So he's on his way to the ground. And my dude was going to hit him again, but he don't. He cocks back, but he don't hit him because he understands that dude is already out. Dude falls, boom. Hits the side of his head on the, there's it's kind of like a step. So when you're going into the shower, it's like you got to take a step. It's probably, I don't know, maybe about 6 inches high, something like that. So you got to step over when you're going into the shower, and that stops the water from running outside of the shower. So dude hits his head, boom. When he hits his head, he's unconscious. Everybody's looking around like, oh man, what's going on? Dude's laid out. The CO don't even know what's going on at this point because they don't see the guys fighting. Everything is glass in this, in the county jail that I'm speaking of, so you can see through, but there's only one guard tower and we're upstairs. So there's 4 different, they call them pods, but it's basically cells. So there's 4 different cells upstairs and 4 downstairs. Each cell holds 10 to 12 people. So the CO can't see everything that's going on. He only has one pair of eyes. So it's so much that goes on or what have you. And, they start banging on the window. Hey, CO. Now, typically that don't happen when guys fight, but this guy was out. He was out. And they didn't do it just immediately. They was trying to get him up, wake him up. He wouldn't wake up. So CO comes in, they call signal, whatever they call, the ambulance comes. Well, first, just the nurses and stuff come. And it's crazy because when the nurses are responding to a fight or something like that in the county jail, they just come in, just twiddling their fingers, joking, and as though it's not a serious situation. They come in, they get the guy, they trying to wake him up or whatever, and, tend to him or what have you. Next thing you know, ambulance comes in, the stretcher or whatever, they take dude is seriously hurt, messed around. Well, of course, nobody's going to be like, yeah, man, dude knocked him out. Nah, nobody's going to say that. What happened, man? I don't know. Dude just fell. That's all I know, man. He fell. And then some dudes like, man, I was asleep. I ain't see nothing. Or I was in the bathroom doing it. Nobody told that they was actually fighting. Come to find out, when dude hit him and he knocked him out, he fell, boom, hit his head on the little step area I was telling you about, broke his neck. Broke his neck. They didn't know if he's going to live or die. They didn't know. Now, the thing about it is this. In the cells, there's no cameras. So if nobody said anything, there's no possible way to prove that, he was actually in a fight. He slipped and fell. That was what everybody was saying. Excuse me. So, our cell was under investigation, what have you. Needless to say, as time went on, we never saw the dude again. But the streets talk, prison talks or whatever. So, we heard the dude broke his neck. He ended up being okay. He was in recovery for a long time. Supposedly he sued the jail. I don't know exactly if that part is true or what have you. But, yeah, he definitely broke his neck. And it's just one of those things that the smallest of things in prison, man, it turns violent that fast. You got to understand, you're in a county jail. And I said prison, but I meant to say county jail. When you're in a county jail, and none of it is cool, but the county jail is just I've always said it's way more violent than prison, for the simple fact of you're in a small spaced in area. You're around a bunch of people that you don't know in most cases. It's overcrowded. It's supposed to be 10 people in the cell, and that's too many. But they got 15, 16, 18 people in there. It's one toilet. It's one, sometimes if you're blessed, you got a microwave. One phone, maybe two phones, but typically one of the phones don't work. So you have to really work together and share and be considerate of the next person. And that doesn't always happen in the county jail. Dude's on the phone arguing with his girl. She's telling him to call right back, or he insists upon calling her right back. Well, you done made 3 or 4 calls in a row. You got other people waiting to use the phone too. You see, so that causes friction. Hold on, dog. I'm waiting to use the phone. The phones turn off at 11 o'clock. It's 10:15. You ain't been able to call your girl, tell her good night, call your, whoever, your wife or what have you, because he's on the phone arguing with his. So, it's everything it just gets violent in the county jail. It's loud. It's disrespectful. I mean, it's just a terrible place. That's why when you hear people, wanting to get to prison, it's not as though they want to be incarcerated. It's just that they want to get out of that county jail to get to prison, where you can get some air, you can breathe, you can walk the yard. You're not stuck all day. You can go out, pretty much do what you want to do, but you're, confined within inside the barbed wire fence, to say the least. But it's a lot less stressful. You can get your own clothes where you used to be able to. What else? You can buy your own TV, MP3 players, and CD players back in the day. You can just kind of zone out and just be in your own zone. So that was a particular situation that happened, and it could have been avoided. But when I think back, it would have been very difficult for it to be avoided, because people wanted to watch the Derby. So they wasn't going to let up off dude. And dude felt as though, man, I cleaned up. So because I cleaned up, man, we watching whatever, y'all watch what I put on. And it just wasn't going down that day. Another situation that I seen that was pretty violent. Same scenario in the county jail. OG, he trying to sleep. It's kind of late at night. It's probably, I don't know, maybe probably 12:30 a.m. Somewhere right around in that range. So he's in his bed, his bunk or whatever. He trying to sleep. Got 4 dudes that's up. They at the table. They playing dominoes. So every time it's one particular dude's play, he's slamming the bones. Boom. Come back around to him. Boom. You can't play. You can't play. You can't play. Boom. Boom. Lock up. Throw it in. You see what I'm saying? So, he's talking trash. He's talking crazy. So a lot of times when you play dominoes in the county, what they'll do is they'll put a blanket. They'll put a blanket over the table, so that because dominoes, these are metal tables. So when you slam it on the table, it's loud. Well, this particular time, no one had an extra blanket. Usually you try to get an extra blanket out of laundry or whatever. So they playing, and every time they slamming the bones on the table, it's just loud. Well, dude, like I said, it's 12:15, 12:30, maybe even 1 o'clock a.m. He trying to sleep. He can't sleep. So he gets up very nicely. He's like, hey bro, you mind y'all maybe put a blanket or something down? Now, the OG was probably at the time, maybe early 50s, 52, 53. He was one of those guys that, he took care of himself or whatever. So, hey guys, very respectfully, y'all mind putting a blanket down or whatever, trying to get a little sleep over here, man. And, it's kind of loud. I don't mind y'all playing dominoes, but I'm just saying this, y'all slamming the bones. And so the dude's like, nah, we ain't got no blanket, man. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody really want to put their personal blanket down on the table. We don't got no blanket. You don't like it, bond out. Like, wow. You don't like it, bond out. That's what he said to the OG. If you don't like it, bond out. This is jail. Bam! Slam the bone again. So we keep slamming the bones. So the OG's like, okay, you right. This is jail. You right. You right, younks. This is jail. So they continue to play bones. They probably stay up till, I don't know, probably about 4 o'clock in the morning playing. And nothing else is said after that. A couple days pass, nothing said. Now, this is a weekend. So on the weekends, typically people, they might stay up a little bit later playing bones. But really, you're in the county jail, so every day's like a weekend, to be perfectly honest. But couple days. Matter of fact, it was one night. One night passed. Nothing else was really said. It was little whispers and chatter. Yeah, man, I was going to whoop OG. I thought I was going to have to whoop OG, man. He had something to say about us playing dominoes or whatever. But outside of that, no interaction between the two. They didn't say anything to each other. Next morning, it's probably about 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30. You just hear a loud thumping noise, like boom, boom, boom. Wake up, look around. OG had grabbed a stool. In the county jail, they give you this, it's like a gray stool, and it's plastic, but at the bottom it's heavy. Whatever it's made of at the bottom, it's like really heavy. I guess it's for support, to sustain you actually sitting down, on top of the stool or whatever. So it's heavy at the bottom, kind of lighter at the top. So it's plastic. I don't know what's in the bottom, as I mentioned. The little youngster sleep. He's out of it. He's asleep. Head is hanging off the rack a little bit. He's on the bottom rack. The OG, he didn't forget about what had happened previous night. It was either one night or 2 nights. This was a long time ago, so I want to say now that I really, really think about it, it was probably 2 nights later. Like I said, I woke up and I turned over, and he's just pounding the dude. Boom! You gonna learn to respect? Boom! Never talk crazy to me. Boom! And he's hitting the dude with the bottom part of this stool, and he done split him. I'm talking about dude was already asleep just from being asleep. So I'd imagine that he woke up, went back to sleep, woke up, went back to sleep every time he got hit. And it was so loud. The CO, he actually seen what was going on, because as I mentioned, everything is glass, everything is see-through. Signal 7 unit CC6, signal 7 unit CC6. That's the call that they used. So by the time that they actually got in there, because, it takes time, and they all come running in. It's 5 or 6 of them, and they'll come running in or whatever, and they got their handcuffs and their mace and, they radios, that they carry. But they came in, and the OG, man, he just continued. He was just beating him, man. I thought he killed that dude, man. I thought he killed that dude, and it seemed like he was trying to kill him. I'm going to teach you young punks. Boom! He's just pounding the dude, man. Dude is split. He's wide open, man. He's out. I was like, there's no way that this dude is actually going to make it through this. Man, they had to bring in the, because when situations like that occur, they have to bring in the, what is it called? I forget what it's called, but they can't make the inmates clean it up. It's a health hazard or whatever. So they have to bring in a special crew and they have on like suits, and they have to come in and clean that mess up. And like I said, it was blood everywhere. It was another situation where the ambulance had to come in and take him out. And it's so weird. This is crazy. I had a carpet cleaning business that I had started, and someone had called me, responded to one of my ads or what have you. This was probably about, I don't know, 5 years later. And when I get there, the dude that called me, he wasn't the dude that had beat the young dude up, but he was the dude's brother, and he was actually there. And I was like, "What's up, OG?" And, I was like, "Man, last time I seen you," he was like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "Man, whatever happened to dude? Was he, he was like, "Man, he suffered a little trauma or whatever, but he's okay." He was like, "I didn't seen him since on the outside or whatever." He's like, he's okay, but stuff like that, man. That county jail ain't no joke, man. Now, I just told you all 2 stories about something that could have been totally avoided. Smallest of things. Wanting to watch something on television, and could you all please quiet down while you playing dominoes, because I'm trying to sleep. In prison, the respect level's a lot higher. You see, in prison there's a lot more respect. But in that county jail, man, you just got guys that really just think that, I don't know, I guess they feel like they made a steal or something. I don't know. But it gets very, very, very violent. I recommend that you just, try your best to just not go to jail. You see what I'm saying? Just avoid all of that, but just not going. Because when you go, you can go to jail and think, man, I'm going to just mind my business. I'm not going to bother anybody. But there comes a time that you always are going to have to stand up for yourself. You'll always have to stand up for yourself in jail, because people will try you. They'll feel like, oh, he don't say nothing. He's not going to say nothing. I've been peeping him for a minute. He don't really kick it with a lot of people. So shoot, I'm going to try him. Now, sometimes trying you, it just depends. It may be saying something crazy to you. It may be jumping in front of you for the phone or the shower, or something like that, when they know that you next. But they call it trucking. They feel as though they're gonna truck you, jump in front of you at the commissary line, something like that. So now it's like, man, I'm trying to go home. I'm trying to get home to my girl, my wife, my kids, my mother, my loved ones, my family. So I'm not trying to get into any trouble by catching write-ups, but at the same time, I can't just allow a person to just truck me in there. Fleece Johnson talks about it all the time, about how he turned a 12-year sentence into he actually served 40 years in prison, and he went in with a 12-year sentence. It's so easy to add time onto your sentence, because prison is just a different game. Jail, prison, it's a different game. So if someone does something to you and you're defending yourself, guess what? They don't care that you're defending yourself. They sending both of y'all to the hole. You go into the hole, and if you do something to the person and you cause damage, then you're subject to get prosecuted. Then you get prosecuted, you serving a 5-year sentence, you hoping to be home in a year, but somebody done tried you, and you done had to go upside their head with a lock and a sock. Which means, you take a sock and you put those combination locks they give you, put it in there, and you wrap it around your hand, and you go to town on them. Well, guess what? That's assault. 2nd-degree assault, which carries 5 to 10. Plus, you're a persistent felony offender. So it's a sentence enhancement that they use in Kentucky. So now that enhances that 5 to 10 to 10 to 20. Which means if you're facing 10 to 20, if you get convicted, you're subject to have to do 85% of your time, because it's considered a violent crime. So you done turned a 5-year sentence that you could potentially be home in a year into 10 to 20 at 85%. All over something minor. It could be over a 50-cent noodle. It could be over, like I said, the phone. It could be over, man, I seen a dude one time get split because he had his pictures out, and he felt dude was looking over his shoulders, looking at his pictures. Actually, the dude that had the pictures, that started it, he ended up getting split. But I'm just saying, there's all type of violent things that happen in prison, man. Stay out with your family, your loved ones, and, you don't have to deal with that. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. I will say this before I go. I was checking with my analytics or whatever as far as, my YouTube channel, because it doesn't seem like my videos is reaching people. And come to find out, only 3% of my subscribers, I think I got 2,600 subscribers, only 3% are actually receiving the notifications. So if you could just go double check your notifications, make sure that, I don't know exactly what mode you put it in or whatever, just make sure that your notifications are on so that you're actually receiving my videos, or being notified of my videos, because I don't know what's going on, but until we figure it out, the party don't stop. We gonna keep grinding, man. That's all we can do. I'm not gonna get on here and cry about it. I'm just saying, if you get a chance, check your settings or whatever, your notification settings, and make sure that you're being notified. Real Kens is on. Respectfully.